That's why when you asked, okay, somebody's born mentally retarded. Why is he born mentally retarded? He didn't seem to have done anything. Just as a result of birth, he's born mentally retarded. And naturally, these kinds of questions you start arising. Why is this person born mentally retarded? Why is there so much injustice in the world? Why some people, they're born with deformities, physical and psychological? Why so much violence in the world, etc.? In a single word, you can say karma, but karma it's not so simple as you may think. It's not so simple that every cause just simply has an equal. Every cause has its effect. It's not as simple as that, because if we understand how everything in existence is so deeply interconnected with everything else, then you will understand how many forces are influencing why certain things are. Like for you to be here, how many things have happened? You can't imagine it, can you? You can try to imagine it. Oh, I'm here because my parents had sex. And because of that, I was born in the world. Okay, your parents had sex, so did their parents, so did their great parents. Generations and generations of people, of genetic material that has been passed on, or that has had an influence. What else has had an influence? Very simple things, the laws of nature, electricity, magnetism, gravity. Every atom of this body is being held together by certain forces, right? Suppose those forces were not the case. You would not be here as you know yourself right now, right? So even simple forces like electricity, magnetism, the quantum world, protons, electrons, all these things have an influence on your existence, don't they? Right? The evolution of the galaxies. Suppose the galaxies didn't evolve in the way that they did, in such a way that the Earth was placed at the correct kind of distance from the Sun, and conditions were made in the galaxy to make life for Earth supportive. Would you be here like this right now? No. And in order for the galaxies to have evolved, the universe had to have exploded from the Big Bang. Now, think about this. Just think about how many forces are involved. So when you think about karma, cause and effect, you should not understand it through such short-sightedness. And that's what so many traditions have done. Like Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, so many traditions have done. They're saying, you're like this because of your sins or your mistakes from a past life. And that's a very short-sighted, naive, childish way of understanding it. You're taking something so limited and you're stretching it as if it's everything. Right? So certainly, definitely, certain actions that you're doing now in your life, you'll pick up certain tendencies for whatever reasons, and then one day the body will disintegrate. It will fall apart. It will decay. Why does the body decay? Because the body has not become suitable enough to contain life, to contain the pranas, the life energies that make you. So those energies want to continue. So definitely the tendencies you've picked up, the kind of experiences you've had, the memories you've had, they all have they make you gravitate in different ways in life, don't they? Like now the way you are, why do you have the kind of conditioning that you've had? Because of your past memories, because of your past experiences. Certain memories have been reinforced. Let's say somebody, he was abused when he was a child, and he grows up and he's still disturbed because of it. This is exactly what psychological karma is. The tendencies of past memories which are influencing your life in the present moment. So definitely all the memories and experiences that you've picked up through life, from birth to right now, This has all had an influence on how you are gravitating throughout life. When the body withers away, then too your energies will gravitate according to the tendencies they picked up. So it's a bit like a bow and an arrow. What are you doing throughout this whole life? It flashes by so fast. But if you want an analogy, what's happening? What are you doing with your mind and body? You're taking a bow, you're taking the arrow, and throughout your whole life you're aiming it, you're focusing it in a certain way, with a certain force, with a certain intensity, with a certain concentration. Now when death comes, you're letting go of your fingers and the arrow's just traveling according to its tendencies. You know what I mean? This is why this life is so valuable. Because right now you have your logic, you have your intellect, you have your intelligence. You can make conscious efforts to decide how your energies are going to gravitate. Beyond death you cannot do that, because your intellect is no more. Your logic is no more. Your intelligence, as you know your intelligence, is no more. So this life is such an enormous opportunity. This is how many yogis, just by handling certain things in life, they can even choose what kind of womb they want to be born in. They can even choose, okay, whether my energies are going to continue being recycled throughout the universe, or whether I'm just going to merge into the infinite. So definitely all the kind of things that you've picked up in this life, they have an influence, but it's not everything. It's definitely not everything. It's a very small aspect of the karmas you've picked up. And the only thing that's important is right now, for whatever reasons, you are the way that you are. Right? You are the way that you are. You cannot change it. You cannot change the past. And so you can go on cycling your mind in so many different ways, asking, why am I like this? Why am I like this? You are like this. It doesn't matter why you're like this, but you are like this. First, recognize that you're like this. Now the next step is just you can understand yourself as you are in the present moment. And that's exactly what meditation is trying to bring into your life. To see yourself clearly as you are. Not according to our imaginations, not according to our unfulfilled desires, not according to our expectations, but as we are. And just by understanding yourself as you are in this present moment, you will understand your karma. This huge bulk of karma that you've picked up. Because that's the only place where you can understand yourself. You can only see your conditioning through the present moment. So don't bother too much about these metaphysical questions. Okay, why am I like this? Is it because of my past life? Is it because of hundreds of past lives? You know, you're going to end up running around in circles and without ever finding any answers. There are ways to find out, okay, is there this past life influence? There are ways to do this. You should understand that for a yogi, past life is not just a belief. You know, in the East, in India, for many people, just because it's part of the culture, even in the West too, just because other people have been talking about it, they've accepted the idea of past lives as a belief. And in many people's minds, it's nothing more than that. It's just simply a belief. But for a yogi, a past life is not a belief. His approach is much more scientific. When you enter certain levels of your unconscious mind, there's two levels to it. One is a personal level. So the personal level of the unconscious, it's all the memories you've picked up from birth to the present moment. That's one level, one iceberg, one surface on the ocean. If you keep on going deeper into your unconscious, you'll find there's yet an even deeper level. And that's an area of the unconscious which is impersonal. So it's not just about the memories you've had in this life, but many lives. Many lives in the sense that I don't want you to think so much of it as, okay, do I have a soul that's reincarnating like this from one body to another? You can understand it if you want to make it very practical. All the memories of the history of the whole species of humanity. You understand? So right now in your life, when you experience fear, you think it's my fear. It's not your fear. Your fear, it's the ancient inheritance, the fears of the whole humanity, which you've picked up, you've picked up. You understand? The way the mind and body is a result of thousands of years of evolution. So you can enter certain depths of the unconscious, and you will experience certain memories. That can be done through meditation, or in medical science, if a person is to recall certain memories he's had in life. You've heard of, what psychologists are doing with hypnosis. They will hypnotize the person, bring his mind to a more subtle state. And in that state, he can start memories which are hidden beneath his conscious mind, can start surfacing in the conscious mind. So he can find out, for example, why is he traumatized? Maybe from a very young age he was abused. Maybe he was not breastfed well. Maybe, he could have been traumatized for any number of reasons. And he was not even aware that these things exist, but he entered through hypnosis, and those memories surfaced in his awareness. And once it comes into your awareness, now you've understood what is the cause of it. So it's like that too with your karma. With your karma, you can understand what are the root causes of your karma by entering very deep into the levels of your unconscious. And this is what meditation, part of the process of going very deep into meditation. You can experience every level of what the mind is, from the conscious mind to the subconscious to the unconscious to even beyond the unconscious. All these levels you can experience it, but with awareness. That's the difference. In sleep, when you go to sleep, there's no awareness. You enter through these levels, you enter from the conscious to the subconscious to the unconscious. But at least in your experience, the awareness is no longer there. You become oblivious, right? So what meditation can do, in a meditative state of consciousness, you can experience every depth of who you are, but still keeping totally awake. So you can even enter into a dream and be awake about the dream. You'll naturally be lucid dreaming. If your meditation becomes very deep, even when you go to sleep, if a dream happens to happen, you will be awake about it. So definitely there are certain experiments. There are certain experiments you can do to find out some small bits and pieces about why your karma is the way that it is. But just always understand there's small bits and pieces. There's small bits and pieces. It's not everything.